Hello guys, my name is Jim Kelly. Welcome to my channel. So I don't waste so much of your time, I will just go straight into the point. I just got this book and I'm actually still reading it. I'm not done with it, but I think I'm more than halfway done with it. But something really stood out in the book that I want to talk about. I think that when just read that portion of the book, it seemed like I found light and I want to bring this light your way. Now, I think that this works for everybody. If you have a lean purse and you want to make your purse fat, which means if your finances are not so great and you want to change that story, there are 7 cures that are very practicable and very easy. The 7 cures to a lean purse, right? So the first cure to a lean purse is a portion of your earnings is yours to keep. As easy as this sounds, it's very deep. You realize that you're working, right, and you're earning. So let's say where you work, you earn 100K a month, 100,000 naira a month, just using the Nigerian context. It can apply anywhere. So if you're making 100,000 naira in a month, a portion of that 100,000 naira is yours to keep. Don't make yourself a slave that will be working for clothing brands. Don't make yourself a slave that will be working for the grocery stores. What I mean is that everything you make, you're spending, you're trying to get groceries. You're enriching the grocery store seller, you're enriching the manufacturer of your shoes, you're enriching the manufacturer of your clothes, but you're not actually leaving anything for yourself. So it's more like you're working for these people. So a portion of your earnings is yours to keep. A very comfortable position you can give yourself is that at least 1/10 of your earnings is yours to keep. So if you make 100,000 naira a month, keep 10,000 naira aside. That's yours to keep. You can now spend the 90,000, trying to take care of yourself and attend to your needs. I will explain to you why it's important to keep at least 10% of your earnings. So I'll be using 100,000 naira earnings throughout this video as an example. Whatever your earnings is, you can apply it and it will still work for you. The second cure to a lean purse is control your expenses. So many people think that they need clothes, they need shoes, they need food, they need, a lot of things. But sometimes if you put all these needs, all these wants on a list and decide to do a scale of preference, you discover that there are some of them that you can actually do without. So as much as possible, try to practice delayed gratification. Don't feed into every desire of yours, especially the ones that are not necessary, the ones that don't satisfy long-term goals. So the ones that can wait, try and make them wait. That way, if you can control your expenses, right, you will be able to even retain more than 10% for yourself. But if you're not able to, then 10% that you retain for yourself is still a very good target. After controlling your expenses, the next thing you need to do is convert your retained earnings to slaves. Not just converting them to slaves, convert their children to slaves and their children's children to slaves. Let me explain what this means. When you keep those retained earnings, in the case of 10,000 as your retained earnings, which is 10% of what you make, when you keep it, try to make sure that that 10,000 naira is working for you to bear fruits. No matter how little it is, if the 10,000 naira is making you 500 naira or 1,000 naira, whatever it is, just make sure you're putting that 10,000 naira to work every month. Now, if you do this consistently, building wealth is a slow and steady process. It's a process that requires your dedication, it requires your commitment. So you don't rush into it. You have to be steadfast and look at the end goal as the result. So slow and steady, make sure that you're turning it to a slave. It's working for you and bringing in something no matter how little. Now, when it brings in something little, remember you're still living on your 90,000. It's taking care of all your needs. So that money is bringing in. It's not yours to start biting into. Convert whatever is bringing in to a slave also, so you could convert your 10,000 in a month to 12,000. And by the next month, you've made another 10,000 added to the 12 is 22,000. You make that total 22,000 your slave, and you could get, let's say, 4,000 naira added to the 22,000 is 26,000. The next month, another 10,000 added to it, that's 36,000. So you turn that to a slave, 36,000 could make you maybe 5,000 naira, that's 41,000. The next month you add another 10. That way, in about a year, you'll be surprised at how much you would have been able to keep for yourself, that you're not giving to the grocery stores, you're not giving to the fashion brands, you're not giving to the shoe manufacturer, and etc. So convert that your retained earnings to a slave, and make sure that you convert its children to slaves also. The idea is to make money work for you. So you work for the money and make sure the money you work for in turn works for you. That makes it balanced, right? So that's the third cure to a lean purse. Let's move over to the fourth cure to a lean purse. So the fourth cure to a lean purse is guard your treasures from loss. Guard your treasures from loss. Now you're making money, right? Your retained earnings are making you more money, and the money is still making you more money. Make sure that you guard it from loss. It's very interesting to hear about an investment that, oh, put in 10,000 naira and you get 12,000 naira extra to make it 22,000. Those are very enticing. It's very enticing to hear that, oh, put in 10,000 naira and you make 100% return on investment in a week. It's interesting to hear, they are the gamblers, they are the betting platforms that are always calling for you, to bring in those your retained earnings. Don't take them there. Please do not take them there. Make sure that you guard your retained earnings, you guard your treasures against loss. Create a boundary around them to make sure they are very comfortable in your space, right? So what it means is that before you make any investment, make sure that the investment is the right one. Don't go into any investment that you're not sure of, that you don't understand. Don't go into any Ponzi scheme in the name of trying to invest your money, right? Only go to investments that you're sure of. And where you're in doubt, seek advice from actual experts in whatever field you're trying to invest. Seek genuine advice from them. Don't go and seek advice on how to invest in gold from a bricklayer. The experts in the field you want to invest are the people you want to consult to make sure that you guard your treasures from loss. Now, before I move over to the fifth, sixth, and the seventh step, if you've not subscribed to my channel and you think you're getting value so far, please, in exchange for that value, I'd like if you subscribe to my channel, just subscribe, like this video, comment, and share to your loved ones that you want to make their purses fatter. The idea is to create a community of business-minded, rich individuals. We all have to get rich together. We all have to connect as rich people. So when we come together, we're a force. Share to as many people as you want to see this light that you're seeing, right? Thank you for doing so. So let's dive into the fifth cure for a lean purse. So the fifth cure is make your dwelling a profitable investment. Make wherever you live a profitable investment for yourself. Now, how can you do this? I mean, if you want to buy a house, if you want to build a house, you'll be spending a lot of billions, right? And not everybody has that capacity to do so. But you see, you have a house where you live and you pay rent. So whether you like it or not, at the end of the year or at the end of the month, depending on how you pay your rent, you must pay rent. So if you look at it that way, that you pay rent, if you want to make your dwelling place a profitable investment, this is tricky, it's high level, it's not an advice, but if it's something you can carry, please go on to do it. You can take maybe a loan from the bank or from wherever you can take a loan and use that loan to build your dwelling place. No matter how small it is, the idea is to make sure that wherever you live, you're not paying extra every year for it, you're not enriching somebody else, and at the same time it's an investment for you, right? So you could take a loan, build a house, or buy a house for yourself, and the same way you pay your rent every year or every month, that's the same way you'll be paying back the bank or paying whoever you took the loan from every month or every year, right? So it still feels like you're paying rent, but you're paying rent to yourself, right? I don't know if it makes sense to you. So if you do that in a period of maybe 10 years at worst, I don't know, depending on the duration the bank or the lender is willing to give you the loan for. So you discover that still with the formula of you're just paying your rent, you're just paying your rent. Before you know it, you've bought your house, you have your own house to yourself. And by the end of that 10 years I'm talking about, whatever the value of that house was as when you built or bought it, it would probably be at least times two, times three the value at the end of when you finish paying the loan, as against when you're waiting for bulk money to build or buy a house and you're paying rent and enriching somebody else. This one is a high level. If you have the mind to carry this, please go on with it. But if you don't, I don't know if I would advise you to skip it. If you don't, you have to have built yourself to a level to be sure that you can do this. So even if you don't want to build a house for yourself to live, you can do this and put the house on short lease. So the idea is to make sure that that dwelling place is a very profitable investment for you. And at the same time, you're increasing your cash flow, you're increasing your streams of income, right? So that is the next cure to a lean purse. The sixth cure to a lean purse is ensure a future income. You might be in your younger days where you have a lot of agility, you have a lot of energy to work and earn money for yourself, but plan for the future, because the time will come where you're going to be in your 70s and your 80s and you won't have as much strength to work out what to eat for yourself. Think about those times and make sure that some of the investments you going into are investments that will take care of you when you can no longer work. So the point is to build wealth, you want to get to the point where you're very sufficient. Even if you're retired, you're doing well. So while you're actively working, keep in mind that the future is coming and start planning for that future. This 10% that we're talking about, 10% of your earnings, you'll be surprised if you have 20 years of active work or 30 years of active work, those 10% that you're keeping aside, you've converted to slaves for you and their children. By the end of that 30 years, you'll be surprised at how much millions it has brought you. And that's enough to set up any establishment that will keep bringing cash flow to you when you're retired or when you're in your old age. So it's the sixth very important cure to a lean purse. Let's go to the final cure, which is the seventh cure to a lean purse. Can I allow you to guess? Take a moment to just write in the comment section if you think you know what the final one is, or if you've read this book, The Richest Man in Babylon. Comment below what the seventh cure to a lean purse is. So while you're typing, for those that don't know, the seventh cure to a lean purse is increase your ability to earn. So let's say, we started with the example of your earnings is 100,000. You can't live on 100,000 earnings for the rest of your life. So make sure that you're constantly increasing your ability to earn, and you're gathering knowledge, you're subscribing to my channel and getting more very useful financial tips on my channel. Make sure you're investing in ways that you're learning how to increase your income. If you work somewhere as an accountant, for example, try to get more certifications that will give you more leverage for negotiations at the table of your employer, so that you get paid more. Make sure that you're just increasing your sources of income, you're increasing your means of income, so that if one goes dry, the other one sustains you. If anything happens to one, the other one will take care of you. If nothing happens to all of them, you're on your way to a lot of wealth. So finally, if you think that you got good value from this video that I've made, kindly show your support, show your appreciation by subscribing to my channel. It's so important. Please like this video, comment, share, and all of that good stuff. And also feel free to check out the other videos that I've made. I've made a good number of videos on how to build wealth for yourself and etc. Feel free to check them out. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for returning if you're an existing subscriber, and if you're not, thank you for subscribing just now. I appreciate you. See you in the next video. Bye.